Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ivan, and in today's video I'll be showing you a little comparison between my Omega Aqua Terra and this Omega Wannabe Chinese Special by Corgeut. Obviously the Omega has it all: heritage, prestige and a technically impressive movement. The Corgeut has none of that, but it is cheap, so let's see if it's any good. Alright, so let me just introduce this Corgeut a little bit. I got it from Aliexpress for about 56 euro on sale, and I actually got it about 4 months after I bought my Omega Aqua Terra, guys. And I did so out of pure curiosity. I was just very curious to see how good or how bad it is, considering it's 100 times cheaper than a genuine brand new Aqua Terra. And as far as the design goes, it's a straight copy or a legal replica, as I like to call such Homage watches, of the previous generation Golf Edition Aqua Terra. I must say, I thought the Corgeut would look terrible in person, but it doesn't. In fact, it looks and feels more expensive than anyone would think. So the Corgeut has very similar dimensions to the Omega. We have 41mm case diameter, but it's 11.5mm thick. So that's 2mm less than the genuine Aqua Terra. And finally, the lug-to-lug distance is 48mm and the lug width is 20mm. So besides the thickness, the dimensions are pretty much the same. One thing that I noticed is that the Omega looks a bit beefier, a little bit more square-ish, due to its lugs being wider. And it also feels that way on the wrist, although the weight of both watches, guys, sized for my 17 centimeters or 6.7 inch wrist, weigh exactly the same, 141 grams. In person, the Aqua Terra is simply refined. It's built and finished better, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you next, guys. By the way, if you haven't seen my full review of this Omega, go to my channel and check it out. Also, let me know in the comments below if I should make a similar video with my Tudor Black Bay. And finally, if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing it so that you don't miss any of my future uploads. Now let's start by looking at the case profiles. Both are satin finished with polished bevels. And as I just said, the Omega just looks much better. The edges are sharp, everything is symmetrical, and the separation between the brushing and the high polishing is so much more pronounced. In contrast, the Corgeut is, well, it's fine, but when directly compared to the Omega, it looks noticeably inferior. Maybe not 100 times worse, but you can definitely tell the difference. Then, when we look at the dials, the story repeats itself. Omega's attention to details is on another level here. I'm not sure you can appreciate it in the video, guys, as I don't have a macro lens, but the Aqua Terra's dial is executed exceptionally. The printing is crispier and the hour markers are taller, they're kind of 3D looking, and they simply stand out. In addition, both the hands and the hour markers are incredibly sharp and perfectly machined. The Corgeut, on the other hand, is more plain looking, but it isn't bad at all. To the naked eye, the printing looks good, but the hands look a little bit plastic and they don't have that metallic look of the Omega. And there is no brushing neither on them nor on the hour markers, which are thinner and, as I said, kind of plain looking compared to the Omega. Plus, look at that date window, it's just way too small and difficult to see. In addition, it says chronometer on the dial, which is simply not true. This watch is not COSC certified. Moving on, both watches feature oyster-style bracelets with butterfly clasps and polished center links. Besides being better finished and put together by screws, the Omega bracelet is much more comfortable due to this part of the clasp being longer, so the clasp rests on your wrist without stabbing you, which is what you may experience with the Corgeut if you have bigger wrists. Other than that, the bracelet on the Chinese Aqua Terra is pretty good and it doesn't feel very cheap. The last thing I want to talk about are the movements. And they really can't be compared, as the Meta certified 8900 in the Omega is beautiful, it has 60 hours of power reserve, it's dead accurate, and it's also anti-magnetic to a Tesla and a half, while the movement in the Corgeut is a simple Seagull caliber that is so bad looking that you would wish to put some scotch tape on the back of the case. Seriously guys, the only reason why you would want to look through the Corgeut display case back would be to check that the rotor is still in place. Besides being ugly, however, this seagull movement works, it hand winds, it hacks, and the automatic winding is bidirectional. In my case, it's been running at about +10 to +12 seconds per day, which is more than acceptable considering the cheap price of the watch, so no complaints here. Finally, let's talk about the Lume. Omega has used BGW9, which is bright and long-lasting, but Corgeut has opted for recycled Chinese street paint that literally lasts about a couple of minutes. But, you know, if you charge it up with Darth Vader's lightsaber, who knows, you might be able to squeeze a few more seconds out of it. So seriously guys, the Lume on the Corgeut is terrible. The watch would have been much better without any Lume at all. Alright guys, final thoughts. The Omega is a well-established brand in the world of horology, which I highly recommend. It's been the official timekeeper of the Olympic Games since 1932, its Speedmaster is the first watch to go to the moon, and the Seamaster models are what you would find on the wrist of Agent 007 James Bond. Because of all this, Omega is one of the most well-known and desired watch brands on Earth. Add quality to the equation and your final result is a luxury brand that many cannot afford. Corgeut, on the other hand, is just another Aliexpress brand with zero creativity. For that reason, when on your wrist, that watch will not make you feel special or proud of owning it, but you may still like it for the great value it is. So thank you very much for watching another of my videos. If you have enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button as I have some more cool videos coming up. Bye guys, and I'll see you in the next one.